Welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. Brand new week, and I think all of us are feeling just a little bit better about the world. Round 2 saw some massive scores being posted by the All Blacks, by Ireland, Samoa, handling Chile, a lesson on international rugby and what it takes at that level. However, it was our boys in green and gold that really impressed us with a clinical match against Romania, winning 76-0. Now, please, we are going to be having a little bit of time to delve into this with the Prince Sports journalist Keenan Hebbensby, who I think must be struggling to keep objective during times like this. Buddy, it's so good to have you here. An incredible round 2, and I think we've been expecting something from the so-called minnows. I mean, if you qualify for a World Cup, you've got the chops, obviously, but there is a big division between the top and the bottom when it comes to a World Cup. That did not show at all. I mean, there were a couple of matches that really stood out for me. France, a couple of questions being asked. Their so-called second-string team against a Uruguayan team that had the basics down. They played rugby like a top-tier nation. Is France in trouble? Are we looking for cracks here? How are you feeling about the home side advantage at this stage?
Yeah, I don't think France is in trouble at the moment. We saw them beat a very good New Zealand side in round 1. Yeah. And also, as you said, Graham, Uruguay, they were so good, they were excellent. And we forget, in 2019, in the previous World Cup, they beat Fiji. They are a good team. They might be still classified as a Tier 2 nation, but they're a really good team. They've got a history at the World Cup. Yeah, so I think it was a good matchup. It was a second-string France team against a very good Uruguay team. Yeah. It made for a very good game.
Yeah, completely. And I think you feel for those sorts of teams thinking, can they emulate that or keep that kind of success going? Because it's going to be difficult when players in those teams, when you look at the second strings, and we saw with the Springboks, but with New Zealand, when players are given an opportunity to put their hand up. I mean, Cam at number 9 for the All Blacks, I think might be the player of the year next year. I have a feeling he's going to be just in a class of his own. They came good. Absolutely dismantled Namibia. Obviously a terrible injury on the Namibian front. That was just, I think everybody watching was, willing to turn the game off after that. But New Zealand, they looked devastating, and we've been waiting for that click to happen, and it looked like it happened.
Yeah, I definitely think it happened, and like you said, Roygaard, what a player he is. So quick, so fast, so strong. He's got it all, and he's got Aaron Smith playing ahead of him, so what a guy to learn from.
To learn from, exactly. And I think it was Aaron Smith who actually said, you guys need to watch Cam, because he's going to make waves this World Cup.
Yeah, he's a great player. It was a good game, and I definitely do think New Zealand, they are still a threat in the World Cup. They had a tough first game against hosts, so and they also came off the back of getting a drubbing from South Africa. Yeah. But they are still a big force. It's a Rugby World Cup. They're always a threat in a tournament like that. So it's going to be...
Especially, when they're finding their straps in that sense. Yeah, that makes us almost more nervous for the Ireland game. 2 for 2. Johnny Sexton surpasses incredibly Ronan O'Gara's Ireland record in terms of being now the #1 scorer for a nation that, again, are starting to find form at the right time. And I think we're all on the same sort of trajectory here. But what does that make you feel about us facing Ireland next weekend? This is a team hitting its straps now.
Yeah, #1 team in the world. They are a very good side. They have played the strongest teams in both their opening matches. So we don't know if they'll come into next week's game, if they'll be a bit sore bodies, especially against a very physical South African side. So I think next week's game it sets up the next stages of the tournament perfectly. It's as we head into the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, it's a massive match determining where South Africa will play, who South Africa will play in the quarterfinals, whether it's France or New Zealand. So
and that will make a difference. Yeah. That'll make a very big difference. I think all of us saying, please, God, let it be France. The Springboks. And I don't want to call it a second-string side because it was more a testing of different combinations within the fold. Brilliant performance from Damian Willems. So obviously a try, 5 conversions, hat-tricks all round. You get a hat-trick, you get a hat-trick. What out of that performance made you most excited? Seeing the Springboks free-flowing like that with players out of position, the 4 so-called scrum-halves playing in various positions. How are you feeling about the Springboks' depth of squad right now?
Yeah, the depth of squad is magnificent. I think it's also the adaptability of the players. Yes. You saw Marco van Staden came on, he played hooker, he played flank. Dion Fourie played hooker, he played flank. We've got players in a number of positions that can play different positions. Damian Willems, so we saw excellent last week at fullback, excellent this week at fly-off. so many brilliant performances, and the 4 scrum-offs, obviously, it worked a treat. We saw Kobus Reinach score a hat-trick.
Second World Cup hat-trick, come on.
And then Grant Williams playing a scrum-off, playing on the wing, scoring 2 late tries. How great was that? So, yeah, it's all the adaptability from the different players. It's great to see. We've got strength in depth going into the tournament. I don't think we have to worry about a few injuries that's happened.
Yeah.
We've got the depth.
Grant Williams can play at hooker. We're all right. And then we're bringing Andre Pollard in just to spice things up. I mean, come on, Rusty, just give us a moment to catch our breath before you spice things up even more. And I think Willie Leroux finding his form, seeing him juggle the ball a few times uncharacteristically, but then the joy in his face when he put Makazole Mapimpi away for his hat-trick. I think he was involved in almost every try. Absolutely brilliant. How are you feeling after round 2 of the Rugby World Cup? Probably as excited as Keaton and I. Then show it. And if there are those minnow teams that you want to see paired against each other or any matchups, let us know on the socials. But let's keep the fierce going.